தினம்தோறும் விளக்கேற்ற நல்ல எண்ணெய் இதயம் நல்லெண்ணெய்.
Welcome to the viewers of the channel Bharat 2047. The intention of the channel is to educate the citizens in any field to help them to grow and see that this country is the developed nation in 2047. If the country wants to become a developed nation, it should have an economical growth. If the requirement is the economical growth, then the citizens should honestly pay their taxes. So to control the tax evasion, Government of India issued a new notification by the Income Tax Department on 22nd April 2025. As per this notification, the rich man who is buying luxury goods is liable to pay 1% tax at the point of time of he is buying the goods. It is called TCS, tax collected at source. This 1% is not an additional tax. It is a tax collected in advance by the government. Whose responsibility to collect the tax? The person dealing in, that is selling the 10 luxury goods is liable to collect the tax. It means the seller of the 10 luxury goods liable to collect the tax if the sale value of the goods exceed 10 lakh rupee. The rate of tax to be collected is 1%. What are the goods notified by the government? Wristwatch. We are seeing in various media some big people, big politician wearing a watch, cost is 1.5 crore, 2 crore like that. Like this, any person buying the goods, which is a watch, from 22nd April onwards, the price of the watch exceed 10 lakhs, the seller will collect 1% tax from you as TCS and remit to the government on behalf of you. The second item notified is antiques, pictures, sculptures. So these are the antiques like tanjore painting or modern paintings or sculptures made of stones, brass or panchaloka, which is cost more than 10 lakhs. At the time of sale, the seller liable to collect 1% tax. Some people may be interested in collecting old ancient coins, old stamps. What, irrespective of the cost of the goods they are willing to buy because they may think that it is their hobby. The seller selling these coins or stamps collecting more than 10 lakh, he is liable to collect 1% tax. Suppose the seller selling sunglasses, the cost of the sunglass exceed 10 lakhs, the seller has to collect 1% tax. If the seller is dealing in sale of shoes, the sale price of the shoe exceed 10 lakh rupee, a pair of shoe costs more than 10 lakh rupee, he is liable to collect 1% tax. Or the seller is selling fancy handbags, the law start with like bag, handbag like that, and the cost of the bag exceeds 1 lakh, the seller has to collect 1%. Any sportswear or the sale price exceeds 10 lakh, they will collect 1% tax. Similarly, home theater system, the cost of the home theater system exceed 10 lakh rupee, the seller will collect 1%. Sale of horses for horse race or polo game, the price of the horse exceed 10 lakh, the seller will collect 1%. Sale of boat, yachts, helicopters, certainly the price exceed 10 lakhs, the seller will collect 1%. So these 10 luxury goods are notified. So the government is concentrating on the person who are using luxury goods. The government want to verify why they are collecting costs and tax. They want to verify the buyer is already an income tax assessee. He is having sufficient income to buy these goods. Whether these goods are purchased from the tax paid money or on the goods purchased, tax has been paid, sufficient income is there and it is disclosed in their income tax return. To verify that, they are collecting 1% tax. It is not an additional tax. It is one of the way of collecting the tax payable. The buyer of the goods can claim credit for these taxes. This is not a new system. It is already there for car. It is already there for purchase of jewelry, gold. Now it has been widened for another 10 goods. So at the time of purchase, the seller will collect the tax and remit to the government. Automatically, the seller will remit the tax to the government and disclose in their TCS returns. It will be reflected in annual information statement and TCS statements. The buyer can take the credit of the tax and he can claim these taxes as a deduction from the total tax payable for the tax year during the previous year. So it is not an extra tax. It is a tax collected in advance and for which the buyer can claim credit. Suppose at the time of purchase, the buyer not paid the tax, the seller not collected the tax. What is the liability of the buyer? What is the liability of the seller? As far as the buyer is concerned, when he purchased the goods, the cost of these 10 luxury goods exceed 10 lakh. The seller failed to collect the tax or the seller forgot to collect the tax. As far as the buyer is concerned, no responsibility, no liability. But if it is purchased from undisclosed income, subsequently if he has been caught. But at the same time, if the seller failed to collect the tax, till he pay the tax, he is liable for the rate of interest of 1% to 1.5% per month. Interest will vary. He has to pay from out of his pocket. The government having power in addition to interest levy penalty. Even he can be imprisoned if the liability is very voluntarily done. There is a mens rea. Intentionally done. So the seller of these 10 goods has to be very careful from 22nd April 2025. They should ensure that the tax has been collected. They should have a control in the software system for this amount of tax. They have to be very, very careful. Ultimately, it is not a new tax. It is one of the method of collecting income tax under the income tax law and remit to the government. The objective is the luxury goods users, are they paying the tax on the goods they purchased? Is the goods are purchased out of the taxable income or already out of the disclosed income to the income tax department? It is a very good, excellent move by the government of India to control the black money. But we are honest citizens. We don't want to evade any tax. Our objective is what? We want a developed India, number one India in 2047. If every citizen feels that we want a developed India in 2047, every tax we are liable to pay, we should have paid voluntarily in time. If that objective is fulfilled, our objective of developed India will be achieved in 2047. Jai Hind. Thank you.